Hey team, hope you're all doing well. Today's topic I want to go over how to get better at running long distance fast. And it's commonly asked, but running long distance and getting better at this particular activity is not going to happen quickly. Okay, it's going to happen in a matter of several months. In most cases, if you're trying to run a new personal best in your chosen event, it's more than likely going to take several years. And that's obviously not an answer that a lot of athletes want to hear. We want quick results. And of course, you can still set new personal best in a matter of several months, but in a matter of weeks, you're not really doing it right because, again, it takes a minimum of between 3 and 4 weeks for your body to adapt to any stress load you're placing on it. So it is going to take you some time and effort for you to get in superior shape so that you go out there and you set that new personal best that you're aiming for. But I think just the more important concept to keep in mind over anything else is patience. It's success in this sport really comes down to time and aging and consistent action on your part. You can't get phenomenal results in the sport of long distance running overnight. I mean, and a lot of times it's very hard in the very beginning of our build-up because we're not running at the paces we want to run at. Our mile splits aren't very fast, our kilometer splits aren't very fast, and it's just that consistent action of getting out the door and putting in the heavy work, which matters the most when it comes to great success in this event. I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, it took me 15 years of running to break a 2 hour and 20-minute marathon and to run 2:19. I started running when I was 15 years old in 1992. I'm 47 now, so I've been running for a little over 30 years. And so it's just that consistent action that you take and how badly you truly want success. And what is your why? What is calling you to get out the door and to compete? Is it a new personal best? Is it to drop a weight? Is it to run a specific time in the marathon distance or the half marathon or 10-mile distance? Whatever that is for you, you have to take consistent action over a long period of time. And it's going to take effort. It's going to take patience more than anything. But you get better by running long distance by training sufficiently at excessively faster paces over a consecutive amount of years, over many months, many years, to the point where you get to that flow state. You get to that performance where everything goes right, where you're hitting splits that even you personally didn't even think you were capable of doing. And I share that with you, with my viewers here that, when I ran 2:19 at the 2007 California International Marathon, I wasn't wearing a watch. I wasn't paying attention to splits. The only thing I knew was the mile splits and kilometer splits that we were hitting, that the volunteers were yelling out during the race. And I still remember some of the splits. I was 51:27 at the 10-mile mark, which was only a few seconds off my PR for 10 miles, which is 50:54. We hit the half marathon in an hour and 7 minutes and 9 seconds, which is only 3 seconds slower than my personal best for the half marathon, which is 1:07:06. And then we hit the 20-mile mark in 1:44:05, which comes out to 5:11 per mile pace. Okay, so that's I think around 3:10 kilometer pace, somewhere around there, 3:09, 3:10. So I think sometimes as you race, as you get better at running long distance, the effort obviously gets much easier for you, but sometimes you have to go beyond just focusing on what the watch says. You have to focus on how you're feeling in the race, how you're feeling in training. Continue to practice staying relaxed as you run at faster paces in training. You get better at running long distance by doing that over a long period of time, focusing on relaxation at faster efforts. It's much easier to stay relaxed when you're running very easy and you're not building up a great deal of lactic acid, but it's much more difficult to run at fast paces when you're producing higher amounts of lactic acid, and obviously you're producing more inflammation as you run at faster paces and after the workout is done. So you get better as a long distance runner by focusing on making sure that you're recovering, you're rehydrating well, you're doing the little things that world-class athletes do. They focus on mesotherapy. They focus on if there's tight muscles or or any tight area of your body, dry needling. I've mentioned that in the past. Dry needling will help to loosen those tight calf muscles or tight shoulders that you feel. Usually you can go to a physical therapist or an acupuncturist to acupuncture therapist to help you with that. But it's doing those little things in training, not only focusing on in terms of remedies, focusing on recovering, icing when you have tight muscles, or if you have any type of tight muscles, you're warming, you get a heating pad, warm the muscle up before you do your workout, and then ice when you finish the workout. Getting better at running long, in terms of how to get better at running long distance fast, there's not an easy answer for that, because it's not a matter of fast, it's a matter of patience and focusing on consistent effort over several months. I definitely believe that you can set a new personal best in a matter of 16 to 24 weeks, and you could probably reach that golden moment that you're aiming for probably within a few years. Okay, now just a word of caution too. When I ran 2:19 for the marathon, I trained for a decade after running that time and never ran faster than 2:19. So there is a point where you perform at such a high level, it's very hard to continue to duplicate those types of efforts. And I think a lot of times we plateau at different ages, but that doesn't mean you can't still compete at a very high level. I did run a 2:26 marathon, which is my second fastest marathon, at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon, where I finished 5th. So you still can compete at high levels. And I only share these efforts and performances with you because there were a lot of setbacks along the way as I was leading up to these types of efforts. Okay, so I had bad races, I had mediocre races, I had great races, I had bad workouts. I got absolutely demolished in a lot of professional races against other professional athletes, where I was trying to get to that next level, and I would have never got to that point had I let those bad efforts get the best of me, or the bad workouts, or placing too much of my focus on not performing at the level that I knew I could compete at often enough. Okay, you have to remember that there's going to be ebbs and flows in your training. There's going to be times where you doubt yourself. There's going to be times where you really question if you have the capability to do what you're aiming for. My best advice is to stay the course, stay committed to what you want, stay motivated, stay driven, and don't lose enthusiasm for what you're doing. You're going to be tested both mentally as well as physically in this sport. There's going to be times where you get beat and you start wondering about, well, maybe I should have did this. Maybe I should have ran more mileage. Maybe I'm just not talented as much. Maybe I don't have as much talent as the athletes that outran me. When really it's a matter of time. Okay, you already have the motivation, you have the drive, you have the discipline to get out there and put in the work. But sometimes it's just a matter of you training for another 2 or 3 years to get to a point where you can compete and you can race at the types of efforts that you're aiming for. A big problem that we make as distance runners a lot of times is we miscalculate the time and effort that it's going to take to get to the point where we're dreaming about, where we're aiming for our races. And so my best advice is just don't get too bent out of shape over a few bad races or workouts. Expect that. You're testing yourself. You're getting out of your comfort zone. And remember this too, in terms of how to get better at running long distance fast. Know that every single workout that you do, whether it's a bad workout or a great workout, adds upon itself. Okay, so it's that consistent action. Every single workout you do, every single easy run, fartlek workout, tempo run, hill workout, long run, any type of workout you're doing will continue to add to your fitness, and that over time is going to set you up for success. It's when you start to overanalyze and get too bent out of shape over not competing at the level that you want too quickly, and you start really losing enthusiasm for getting out there and putting in the work. That's where you start to throw a wrench in your plans. You really have to think like a Kenyan, think like a world-class athlete. They get over disciplines very fast. They're always on to the next workout, the next race. At least in my own background with competing with and living with some world-class athletes, sub 4-minute milers, sub 2:10 marathoners, these athletes get over disappointment very, very fast. And so I want you keeping that in mind as you move forward in your training and in your preparation, is just stay committed with what you're doing. Continue to put in the hard training. Continue to train well below the goal paces you're aiming for. Get used to, like if you're trying to break a 5-minute mile on the track, get used to running some 200s, some 300s at 425 to 435 mile pace. Okay, you're not going to be able to sustain that pace for like repeat 800s or repeat 1200s, but you can do that for repeat 200s or 300s or maybe even 400s. Get used to spending some time training well below 5-minute mile pace. Okay, that's just an example. Okay, if you're trying to break a 3-hour marathon, that's 6:52 mile pace or 4:16 kilometer pace. So spend some time running under 6-minute mile pace in training. Spend some time running under 3:40 or 3:35 kilometer pace in training. Get that race pace to feel easier for you so that you can sustain that for a longer period of time and it doesn't challenge you to such a high extent. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'll end with that. I hope you guys and gals have a great rest of your day, great week of training. Feel free to leave me a comment below this video. If you have any questions, let me know how your training has gone and what your biggest challenge has been in training. I'd love to hear that. And definitely check out the resources below these videos. They're definitely help you get to the next level in your racing and training. And I will talk to you guys and gals all in the next video.